Mă numesc Claudiu Schmidt, sunt responsabil tehnic pentru Pure în regiunea Emerging, care include și Estul Europei și născut în România, bineînțeles, regiunea de suflet este România. Îmi cer scuze, dar am plecat de mult din România și româna mea ajută, poate ajunge un pic doar la introducerea de bază, de aceea voi trebui să schimb în engleză ca să vă prezint detaliile tehnice. Sper că toată lumea e ok cu engleza. Okay, Pure Storage. So apologies, English. So what's Pure Storage? Pure Storage is no longer a startup, but we started the business in 2009. We closed last year roughly 2.75 billion. We have roughly 15,000 customers across the globe, from very small ones to customers running hundreds of petabytes in production. We are the leader in the Magic Quadrant for 9 years in a row. The last few years we were the uncontested leader, especially in the block segment. We give customers a lot of savings in terms of energy consumption, cooling, rack space. I will give you some details. And then we have roughly 56% of the Fortune 500 companies. And most proud, we have the highest net promoter score for the infrastructure vendors. So roughly the infrastructure vendors are in the range of 10 to 20, and we are in the 80 to 90 range. So it means our technology not only is reliable, support is great, but also Apple iPhone is in the range of 60, just to give you a rough idea where we are. Okay, so let me give you a little bit of insights on where the economy goes, where the investment goes. So, what are the changes, what are the challenges moving forward? So, the most important one is how do you change your consumption model? Then, how do you deal with the cloud? Okay, cloud is a big term. Okay, you talk about on-prem clouds, public clouds, hybrid clouds, how you move across the clouds. And then, how do you automate your operations? How you make it simpler to operate at scale? Prediction for the years to come is how do you modernize your applications? Okay, containerized is the new buzzword. Everybody will move into containers, gives you more flexibility, freedom, and then microservices as well. If you look on the investment, so what is the prediction on the future investment, especially this year and next year? You can see extracting intelligent information out of your data is one of the most important topics and with the biggest growth. Then as well is the modernization of your applications with the biggest growth as well. So these are topics I'm going to cover in the next few slides and how Pure will help you accommodate those. There's also a statement I found recently where everybody talks about the cloud. You see that the on-prem cloud is growing faster than the public cloud. Okay, so that's another statement. Data is valuable, gravity of data is very, very important. This is why the trend is obvious. So if you talk about digital transformation, the most important part of it is the foundation. Okay, cloud is a very interesting buzzword. At the end of the day, cloud is someone else's computer, someone else's storage. So it's still, you need good storage and good servers to accommodate that need. Now, Pure Storage, we have a lot of products to accommodate it, and I'm going to go into details in each and every one. This is a proof, so this is the last Gartner report. You can see Pure Storage is at the edge in terms of the block storage side and also in terms of fast file and object. We're also in a leader quadrant. That proves that we've done something right, developing those products. This is the portfolio range in terms of block and file storage. Okay, so we start with a tier 2 storage. Okay, this is a C-class arrays. We talk about 1 to 4 milliseconds of latency. We talk very big scales. Okay, we talk about 1.9 petabytes up to 7 or even 10 petabytes in size. This is tier 2. This is to accommodate all the requirements for tier 2 workloads. Think about your hybrid storage today. Didn't think about your disk arrays today running. Okay, flash is more simple to manage, more reliable, and also the latency is more predictable. The second tier of products is the X-arrays. This is the high performance tier 1 applications, and we go up to 20 gigs per second of throughput. We talk about 150 microseconds of latency. And then the sizes depend on the model you choose and on your local requirements. We start with an X10, 72 terabytes, going up to an X90, up to 3.3 petabytes. And then the high end is the XL array. Okay, this is the performance machine. You go up to 36 gigs per second, as well the latency is sub-millisecond, 150 microseconds, and the sizes go to 3.5 or even 5.5 petabytes. The beauty of our product is it runs the same operating system. Okay? So there's no different products. You can replicate between all the products, between C, X, and XL. Okay? You can non-disruptively upgrade from a small X10 up to an X90, and then you can upgrade to an XL 130. We just finished last weekend a complete migration for a big South African bank where they had X90 arrays. We upgraded them to an XL array, completely non-disruptive, no data loss, no interruption. They were fully in production. They were running 6 gigs per second during the whole migration period. Again, no data loss, data in place, and no second of interruption. And this is unique from a product point of view. Now, the core of our architecture is the Purity operating system, as well as the flash module. Okay? We develop our own flash modules. We don't buy the SSD drives. This gives us a lot of flexibility. It gives us, first of all, we run the software on those modules. It gives us direct visibility in what every NAND is doing on this chip. Okay, it gives you a good end-to-end view. If you buy an SSD drive, it's manufactured by Samsung, Toshiba, Hitachi, whoever does it. It's a black box, so you have no control. You send an I/O there, you don't know what's doing. With this simple configuration, we have direct visibility. We see which chips are busy, which DIMMs are busy, what bus is busy, and we can make very smart decisions where to put the data on. It's 100% NVMe, okay, fastest protocol on the market, and there's no hidden flash. You buy a drive, you have 20% waste. It's hidden there. We don't have any waste, so we optimize the utilization. The latency is deterministic because we control end-to-end, from the front end to the back end. We have full control of this. Hello? No, okay. And then we can do any density. Okay, we start with 2.2 terabytes, and today the biggest module we have is 48 terabytes. No, the biggest SSD on the market is roughly 30 terabytes, so we have a higher density and bigger modules. We're going to release the 75 terabytes very soon. We already have prototypes for 150 terabyte drives and 300 terabyte drives. So imagine the scale you're going to see soon. This disk drive will be obsolete. Think about 300 terabyte SSD drive, 40 drives per chassis. Now you get to 20, 30, 40 petabytes in a 5-year unit. Okay. Now, what's important for Pure? Pure is all about simplicity. Okay. It comes in a box. You install the whole array. You get into production in roughly 30 minutes. You have standard cables, nothing proprietary there. You don't need cables, you don't need operating system or multipass driver, everything is standard. And there is no manual for Pure. Okay, you can download one, you can read it, but as with iPhone, nobody reads it. So it's very intuitive. No, you just start it and you understand how it works. And also we have all the software, it's included. We have no licenses on our products. You want to run replication, it's there. You want to run snaps, it's there. Clones is there. Encryption, standard. So nothing hidden. Okay, you get 3 lines. You get the capacity, the model, and the support for the product, and that's it. There's no 100 lines of codes when you buy a product. Everything is encrypted. Okay, it's inline. We handle the keys. You don't need to do key management. We don't need any performance steering, so you don't need to think where to put your data. Everything is the highest performance tier. And then it's API driven, so we have the API first strategy, okay? API first, and then we do it on the GUI. So you can automate everything completely. And then we have AI-driven cloud support and management. I'm going to show you some screenshots, what we do, how we monitor your environment, especially multi-sites, which makes the management very, very easy. We also released a unified platform. So the platform we talked about is unified. So you can do file and block at the same time. Okay, everything is 100% NVMe. It's one pool. We do compression, deduplication across block file workloads. We don't really care. This is how it works. Okay, the beauty of it, you get for both block and file, you get the evergreen story. So once you buy Pure, you will never have to migrate data off that array for both file and block workloads. That means we have customers running for decades on Pure. They never had a downtime. They never had to migrate the data off an existing array to a new array, passing your SAN or your network for that purpose. So we are very reliable. So we have 6 nines of availability without any active-active or active-DR replication. A single array gives you 6 nines of availability. Performance is 100% performance, even if you lose components. Think about drives or even controllers. We run at 100% performance. This is why we can do a non-disruptive upgrade from generation to generation without your users noticing any interruption of their production workloads. Okay, everything is non-disruptive, upgradable. We have proprietary dynamic double parity RAID. That means you lose a drive, we're going to rebuild a double parity RAID, and you can continue production. You lose another drive, you can rebuild it again. So you can lose as many drives. As long as you have capacity on the array, nothing will happen. And then also we have QoS. That means if you really want to do tiering, you need lower tiers, higher tiers, you can run QoS on the system. Again, it's included, as we don't have any licenses, as mentioned. On the security side, okay, we have a very safe array. Okay, we have always-on encryption. We have different level of encryption on the ASIC, on SSDs, and of course, it's no impact to production. Everything is inline. We do it before you write the data to the SSDs. Again, we have all these FIPS certifications as well. And as I mentioned before, there is no key management. We run the keys. If you want to externalize the keys, you can do that as an option. And we also have what's called a rapid data locking. That's mostly for critical environments where you need to run fast. If something happens, you can take the key and run. The data on the array is unusable. Nobody can read it. And of course, efficiency, green IT is a buzzword everywhere. We designed the product from day one to be the greenest on the market. So we can roughly save customers 80% of power consumption. And if you look on Gartner, they mentioned by 2030 you will double the power consumption only on storage. Okay. If you put Pure in there, you will have a lot of savings. We have customers who've done the TCO running Pure versus other vendors. Now, if you run it on 3-5 years TCOs, the savings on power, rack space, and cooling pay for the array on its own. You save, depends on the size, millions of dollars on cost savings just by running Pure. And it goes more than power and power savings. We don't recycle, we don't throw away arrays. An array from Pure, you buy it once, and you have it for the, let's say, 10-20 year span. We don't throw away old SSDs. We run them. We replace controllers, we keep the chassis, everything is with data in place. So it's very good for sustainability. The second line of products is what we call FlashBlade. Okay, FlashBlade is for the new type of workloads, which is mostly unstructured data. We have two models. It's FlashBlade S, which is the high performance, and then we have a FlashBlade E, which is the tier 2 workloads. And you can see from the history, traditional unstructured data were file shares, emails, some content repositories, but it changed. The data is no longer cold. Everything is important, everything is usable, and people want to extract valuable information out of the data. And you get data from everywhere: IoT, fraud detection, predictive analysis, SaaS, instant. Think about all your phones, images you're saving, the messages you're saving. Data will grow exponentially in the new future, and this has to be fast and it has to be big. So this is the platform we designed for exactly that workload. So what is FlashBlade? Okay. First of all, we support high-performance NFS and SMB, native on the array. We have the fastest S3 product on the market, and most of the products move now towards S3. That means the market is moving towards us. We have a very simple management, so you can manage, we have customers running 60, 50, 70 petabytes of data. It's one interface. It's a scale-out architecture. You can scale capacity, you can scale performance with no limits. We protect the data, so we have snapshots on the array. And then we have replication, being file or object replication. It's embedded in the system. As I mentioned before, no licenses. That means you can use all of these functionalities as you see fit, and you can decide what you want to do. We have also RBAC and safe mode. Safe mode is very critical. We have customers buying Pure just because we have a very safe ransomware protection. Every snap we do, you can protect with safe mode. That means nobody can touch it. Okay? If you're root or admin or whatever god in that environment, you can't access that snap. That means you will always have a safe way to restore your production instance, even if, let's say, a hacker enters your environment and encrypts your data, those snaps are safe. And then we have integration with the cloud. So you can run workloads on-prem and you can replicate to the cloud. It applies to both FlashArray as FlashBlade as well. So you can choose where you want to run your workloads, where you want to run your backups or your copies of data. Okay, so this is the FlashBlade system. Okay, the chassis is designed for a long time. That means most of the times that will stay for 10 plus years. We have blades. Okay, blades have capacity and performance. You can scale linearly both performance and capacity. As I said, we have customers starting with a few terabytes, and they can scale non-disruptive to several petabytes. Now, the largest implementation I have in my region is 40 petabytes right now. So, again, single interface, single namespace, and we talk about 150 gigs per second of throughput in that environment. We want to make it simple, as Pure always does, so we have two network connections, and that's it. If you think about 20 petabytes, 40 petabytes of size, classic, standard, old-fashioned architectures, you will have a lot of cables, a lot of switches, a lot of complexity. We want to make it very simple. Externally, we have only two connections. And then we talked about the interface. It's very, very simple and very, very intuitive. We optimize the system for both hardware and software, so we extract the best out of both worlds. And this is why we can go to these scales and performance sizes. Here are a few use cases. Okay? Think about, these are the modern workloads. The most interesting one is the data protection. Okay? You can use FlashBlade as your very fast restore engine. We partner with our backup vendors. Now we have Veeam, for example. We work very close with Veeam. We have the stand together with them today here. Now, where we can give you guaranteed SLAs on restores. Now, most backup products, you have a very fast backup, but once you need to restore, Okay, it might take an hour, might take 5, might take a day, you never know. With FlashBlade, we have a confirmed SLA. Okay, we know how fast it can restore. There is no metadata overhead or slowdown. You can guarantee the SLA of a restore. And you can do multi-parallel restores. Think about you have an environment is hacked or you've had a disaster. Okay, you don't want to do one application at a time. You're going to have hundreds of applications restoring at the same time. Guess what? 150 gigs per second is a pretty fast way of restoring your data. And then we have the second product, as I said, the tier 2 one, which is FlashBlade E. This is for long-term retention. Think about data you don't utilize that much. Think about archive data, cold data. You can put it on Flash, and Flash is more reliable than disks. The uptime of a Flash drive is higher than any disk, so you can keep them safe and also have the guaranteed latency for the restores. Now then enterprise imaging, think about AI applications, cancer analysis. We have a lot of hospitals or research institutions running big sizes. Think about genome sequencing. They talk about tens of petabytes of data. They need performance, okay? They need availability, they need size. This is where we do. And then analytics. We have a lot of customers where analytics is getting more and more important. Elastic, Splunk, their new setup on how to run Splunk Elastic, the smart store setup for Splunk. You need a lot of performance there. You need a lot of capacity there. Again, a good one. HPC, getting more and more important. And then AI, ML workloads. You need a lot of different workloads, a lot of different sizes. Okay, this is where FlashBlade is a good fit. And then if you have chip design processes, okay, their size and performance is very, very important. This is a customer of ours. This is a level of savings they achieved. This is their own slide. Okay, we just got permission to use it. This is what they had before, another vendor. This is what they have today. You can see the CO2 emission savings, you can see the power saving, you can see the rec unit savings, and this is across the board. Okay, if data center footprint is important, we get you 5 use, we get you several petabytes of data. If energy cost, and everybody knows it went up dramatically, this is where we can save a lot. If cooling is an issue, we have no rotation, no rotating spindles, there's no heat. We can save you a lot of cost there. So again, challenge us on this one, but we have a lot of slides on this size on showing how we can generate some savings. So we talked about the heart of it, the core, the infrastructure one. Let me talk about the business continuity. Okay, it's also very important. So what do we have here? We have a lot of functionalities. We have probably the most innovative active-active setup. Okay, we replicate synchronously. Both arrays are active at the same time. No active failover, active passive. They run active at the same time. You can move the workloads. The workload will move with the array as well. So again, very simple to set up and no licenses. An active-active setup takes you 5 minutes and you're done. Nothing else. Then we have active DR, which is near zero RPO, so it's a journaling replication. You talk about seconds of delays. Then we have the asynchronous replication. We talk about big distances with customers replicating from Europe to US. Okay? There's no limit to the asynchronous replication. We have also cloud integration. Think about you want to offload data to the cloud. You take a snap, you move it to the cloud. It's native. Okay? You don't need any plugins, any additional software. You run it native. And then we have a lot of snaps. Okay, snaps are individual copies of the data, untouchable. There is no relationship to the production volume. You can remove any snap in between the time of the production and the snap you're looking into. You can remove the production volume as well. The snap will be preserved. Okay, there's no dependency. Everything is a single unique copy of data. So again, this is the snaps. Okay, they're very simple. You can do thousands and tens of thousands of snaps. You don't need a planning. You can have a scheduler in the GUI. You can integrate it with your backup software. You can have an external scheduler. It's simple. Everything is thin, provisioned. We dedupe and we compress those snaps. So think about your big Oracle, SAP environments. Doing a tech refresh or an Oracle refresh, SAP refresh takes you seconds. Okay, you put the data on a snap and then restore to another volume and you're done. There's no backup restore required. Everything is there. And also, the snaps, they have no performance impact. You can do thousands of snaps, there's no impact at all. And also no capacity consumption until you write new data. Okay, let's move to the next level. The operating model, which is probably by far the most interesting one, not to say that the other one won't be. So what do we offer as Pure? We have something we call an evergreen model. Evergreen model means, as I mentioned, the software is included. There is no hidden license. You buy it, you have everything we have. We have customers bought an array 5 years ago. We released Active Cluster, they used it. They didn't have to pay anything. It's there, it's available. You don't need to enable it. We also have right size guarantee. So you want to make your life easier because we do compression deduplication. We size your environment and we give you an array and say this will accommodate your needs. Okay, if we miss it, we give you the capacity you require to meet it. There's no risk on you. We give you a legal document saying this is what we guarantee, no questions asked. We have maintenance contract for the whole duration of your contract. Okay, if you buy an array today and you run it for 10 years, you're going to have maintenance. There's no small text or exclusions. Everything is there. You buy it, you run it, no questions asked. But probably the most interesting one is the upgrade. We designed the architecture in such a way that you can always move non-disruptive between generations. I've been in a lot of storage companies before. This is unique. Okay, we have customers buying it back in 2012 and they still run Pure. They never had to do a migration. They never had to take a downtime. They simply upgraded between generations and we changed the hardware, the software, the metadata structure. We changed the backup. We changed the compression algorithm. We changed everything. And it still could move non-disruptive between generations. To top it up, we created something we called our Evergreen subscription. So think about you buy an array today for Pure, you get your maintenance contract for 3 years. After 3 years, you have the choice to renew your maintenance contract for another 3 years, and we give you a free hardware upgrade on your controllers just by renewing your license. Okay, there's no hardware you need to buy, there's no capacity requirements. You simply renew your maintenance contract and we renew the array. Non-disruptive, no downtime, and you can have this 3-year cycle for as long as you want to, and you're going to keep your data, and we're going to keep the maintenance, and we're going to keep upgrading and renewing your arrays with the latest and greatest technology on the market. And then also we have capacity consolidation. Think about the flash drives. We're 512 gigabytes, now it's 1 terabyte, 2, 3, 4, whatever. If you want to have 100 terabytes, you don't want to have them on 1 terabyte chunks, okay? It requires 100 modules. What we also do, we give you capacity consolidation option. So if you buy an additional capacity, we're going to remove on our cost the old flash modules and give you the newest ones. So you keep the density of the product. So this is the evergreen story, just in a summarize. So you deploy once and you upgrade in place for whatever period of time you want to. Our engineers won't release a product unless it's backwards compatible. So unless we can migrate from old box to new box, we will not release it because we want this continuity. We want you to avoid months of migration. We want you to avoid buying a new array, migrating between them, running 6, 12 months together, doing the migration. Everything is data in place. We don't need any downtime, any migration. It's full performance. So I've personally done an upgrade on the biggest host hoster in Switzerland. They had like 6 arrays in 3 data centers. We upgraded them all to new generation. Hosters are important, okay, every second counts. No disruption, nobody noticed. We upgraded all the infrastructure. So this is a real story. This is a customer. This is the first array we released back in 2012. They bought it. A few years later, they upgraded to the newest at that time. We had Dell servers. I know, it's a good story. And then we upgraded to the FA, M arrays, new chassis, and so on. The density increased, X arrays, XR2, XR3. No disruption. Simply renewing your maintenance, you got through all the cycle. And as you see, the density of the drives increased, and we gave them the same density. So this is why, especially customers like our technology, because it avoids you the migration cycle, it avoids you the downtime, application discussions. Everything is gone. In terms of monitoring and managing, we have a very interesting offering which is called Pure One. So we collect all the data from your arrays. We actually collect all the data from all the arrays across the globe into Pure One, and we give you, interesting statistics on consumption, performance, prediction, capacity prediction, performance prediction. We tell you when this array will go at limit in terms of capacity and performance. Everything included, as I said, no licenses. And if you have multi-sites, we give you the multi-site view as well. So this is how Pure One works. Okay, we have a global sensor network. We have real-time scanning on all the arrays across the globe. We have a data warehouse, AI engine to analyze that data. With our 15,000 customers, we generate roughly 30 terabytes a day of logs. And you all know logs are important because then you can do a lot of telemetric analysis. Okay, we have 15 petabytes right now in this data warehouse. So we can predict a lot of events. And this is how it works in reality. So if we identify a problem at one of our customers, we create something called a fingerprint, and then we go and scan 15 petabytes of data on that particular fingerprint. And if you identify that one of your arrays is eligible to that error, we're going to proactively inform you, open a support case, and fix the problem before it occurs. This is the power of our AI engine. We also have VM analytics, okay, as well as mentioned, free of charge. So you can get an insight. If you run VMware on Pure, you get end-to-end view of your environment. You can see analysis of VM-specific latency, VM-specific workloads, capacity, and you can see which volume is matched to which VM. As mentioned, free, no license required, you just buy and use it. Okay, everything is managed over web interface or on your phone. You can be on the beach in Greece, enjoy it, you have a problem, you have an interface, you open up your phone, you see if it's related to storage or not. Easy way to manage an environment. We have security on Pure One. You can create users. They can have specific views. If you have multi-sites, you can see it on a very nice map where it's located. And also we have APIs. It's open API. You can run these reports, integrate into reporting tools or whatever analysis you want to run on that particular data. So very, very intuitive. And the next generation of managing is something we call Fusion. We run a POC right now at one of your customers. This is what we call the next generation of management. So Fusion will give you the cloud feeling, even if it's on-prem. It's one interface, and you run your whole environment as one big cloud. You don't need to think about where to put your data, how to optimize, how to replicate from where to where. Fusion is the engine. Okay, you simply create classes of storage, you create your users and consumption models, and then the rest is done by Fusion. It will place your workload where you want to have it placed. It will give you the redundancy, HA, active-active, multi-site replication, but by simply creating a class of service. This is the way to manage big environments in the future. Think about tens, hundreds of petabytes in the future. You don't want to know where the data is placed. You don't want to interact with the data or humanly decide where to put the data. Fusion will do it for you. Okay, let's move to the next level, which is modernizing your applications. So, what's the future application? It's containers. Okay, we acquired a company roughly 3 years ago, which is the leader in that space, which is called Portworx. So what does it do? If you think about the old world, okay, for the past 20, 30 years, everything was infrastructure-centric. You had your servers, your network, your storage, applications were bound to servers. You had VMware giving you a little bit of flexibility, but it was still infrastructure-centric. The new world is application-centric, okay? Containers, microservices. You talk about tens of thousands of containers, nodes moving up and down. You don't want to provision those, okay? Provisioning 10,000 of containers, it's a big challenge. So in this world, you need a different way to manage the storage infrastructure. And this is where the strength of Portworx comes in. So what does Portworx do? So Portworx is the data services platform. Think about VMware at the very early stages. They virtualize the storage for the infrastructure. Portworx will virtualize storage for containers. And we don't care what kind of applications you run there. You can run analytics, Couchbase, you can run Splunk, you can run anything on a container environment. We don't care about the Kubernetes distribution. We can run with all of them. Think about OpenShift, Amazon, think about Tanzu. We work with them. We can run on any cloud. Okay, Portworx doesn't care. We have integration with all the storage vendors with the CSI integration. You can run those as well. And then you can have it in pilot, test, and dev, go live, and so on, big scale environments. Okay, we don't care. I'm going to go into the details on what Portworx actually does for you. So the Peak Store is the base product for Portworx. It simply virtualizes the storage. It gives you, the software-defined storage layer for your container environment. This is the core of it. We also have an integration, a product which is called Peaks Backup. You cannot back up containers the way you backed it up, your VMware environment or your Oracle environment. You need a completely different backup setup. It's available over Portworx. We have DR. And we give you for containers a DR solution. Active-active, asynchronous replication. We also have a migration capability. Think about you run a container environment on-prem, you decide to move it to the cloud. Portworx, one click, you're done. You move it there. You want to move it in between the clouds. It gives you availability across the clouds as well. You can run part of it on Google, another part on Amazon, and so on. It gives you the freedom to run it. We give you enterprise functionality, security, and then we have autopilot, which will automatically manage your tens of thousands of containers without you manually thinking about, I need to extend capacity, and so on. It sets rules, and it automatically increases the capacity you require. And then the last stage is, with all of these solutions, you can offer a completely new setup of services to your clients. Think about database as a service, data search, analytics as a service, AI as a service. All of it is available from Pure. We have a lot of customers. These are specific from the region, Eastern Europe mostly. You can see from the biggest one, Continental. We have very interesting. You can see a video there. Formula One AMG. They run everything on Pure. So if you ever have the chance to go to a Formula One race, they run everything on Pure, from real-time analysis of the track to the wind channel to design the car. Everything is available there. Especially in the finance sector, we have very large banks running hundreds of petabytes in production because of our availability, because of our simplicity, and because the more complex a migration is, the more value we can offer, because there is simply no downtime anymore. So once you move to Pure, you're done migrating. You can focus your team on more valuable tasks for your environment or for your customers. So we have a stand here, we can demo, we can show you everything you've heard from containers, ransomware, backup, the simplicity, active setup. So simply pass by, we're more than happy to answer all your questions. And with this, I think my presentation is done. So thank you very much.